Hi, my name is Linnea Tucker. I'm an 8th grade math teacher at Bear Branch Junior High. I teach 8th grade on-level math, pre-AP Algebra 1, and pre-AP Geometry. And so I signed up to tell you all why I can't live without my Interwrite pad. So I just found out a couple days ago that we're going to do this training session over at Magnolia West High School. And I guess my greatest fear in doing this training session is that my technology that works perfectly in my classroom, that I can't live without, I'll walk in for the training session and it won't work. So I'm going to make a video of the major points that I want to talk about, and that's going to be my plan B, so I don't walk in and look stupid in front of everyone. All right, so this is what my Interwrite pad looks like. This is a picture of it. This really is an older model. I've been using this particular one now for probably 4 or 5 years. And eInstruction, who makes these Interwrite pads, now have a new one out, and it's called a Mobi. And I've not got to play with one of those. I hear that we have, gosh, maybe like 300 of these Interwrite pads in the district, and it's still great technology. So that's what I'm going to be talking about here today. All right, so the one thing that I want to do that I won't be able to show you during the training session is quickly, what do I have to do to install the software on my machine to make this whole thing work. So what I do on my machine, I go in here to, is it hardware? Let me see here. And my technology's not going to work over here. It's being real slow. Okay, you go to hardware, and you have this icon right here that says Interwrite First Install. You won't have this one. I've installed it on this computer once before, so you won't have this one right here yet. You go to this one here. If you don't have this Interwrite First Install icon under hardware, send in a work order to technology and they'll set one up for you. So I'm going to double click this and let's see what happens. I think the hardest part about using my Interwrite pad is getting the software installed when they make me change classrooms, and I can't take my Interwrite pad with me. Well, I can't take my, it's not my Interwrite pad I can't take with me, it's my computer I can't take with me. You know, you get everything set up on your computer just the way you like it, and then they make you switch rooms. I had to switch rooms last year and reinstall everything on my new computers. So this is what it looks like when you first start installing the software. So I'm going to pause the screencast until something new pops up, because this could take, if I remember right, this could take anywhere from a half hour to an hour. So I'm going to let this run until something new pops up. Okay, it didn't take as long as I thought it would, and maybe that's because I've already installed the software on this computer once before. When you go through the whole installation process, and there might be some more steps that I didn't show here, down here in your system tray, down here, you should have this little icon that when your cursor's over it, it says Instruction Tools. Let's double click that. Okay. I've plugged in the Bluetooth that comes with the Interwrite pad, and that's this little icon right here. I don't know why it doesn't say anything, but it's your little Bluetooth icon. So let's double click that and see what happens. Devices. Let's add devices. And we go through this wizard. Click that box, hit next. It's going to look for your Bluetooth device. Actually, it's going to find any Bluetooth devices that's up and running in your room, including your cell phone and anything else you got a Bluetooth working on. Yeah, see, it's found several devices here. My device is this SP400. That's the model number on my Interwrite pad. So I'm going to click on that and do next. And let's see here, choose a passkey for me. Let's try that. And looks like it's completed. So let's close that out. See, I'm telling you what, this is always the fun part, is getting this whole thing connected. And I always kind of have to play with this to make sure it's all working. All right. Okay. Now, down here in the system tray, e-instruction, tools, it's this icon here, has a big E and an I on it. Double click on that. And let's go to e-instruction device manager. I'm setting this up on an old HP computer, and my computer's running really slow. Okay, so I'm going to go to options, and I am going to go to discover devices. Now that the computer recognizes the Bluetooth, your Bluetooth needs to find your Interwrite pad. And when that happens, you should hear your Interwrite pad make a positive little beep noise, and then this should go green. Let me double click here. The Interwrite pad is connecting. Oh, and I heard a little beep. And when you get the little green check mark here, now your computer is talking to your Interwrite pad. All right, that's great. That's the first thing you have to do. That's step one. Get the software installed and make your computer talk to your Interwrite pad. Great, we're up and running now. So let me tell you a few of the reasons why I cannot live without my Interwrite pad. I just love my Interwrite pad. Here's several reasons why. It can be used as a remote mouse. I don't need, like a clicker. I can use my pad to click through anything I want. I can use it as an annotation tool. I can pull up a PowerPoint, a Word document, a PDF, and I can mark on that. I can do computations on top of the background document. I use it as an efficiency tool. When I set up my files, I'll set up like a blank template that has the problem in it, and I might even actually have some steps done that I can click through, and it minimizes the students' downtime, so I can get more done in the 57 minutes I'm allowed. It's great for proximity control. I can teach the lesson anywhere in the room, and I can keep talking, and I can go stand next to a kid. I have even sat on top of a kid's desk when he wouldn't stop talking. I sat on his desk and continued to teach until I could tell he couldn't stand it anymore, and then I moved away. Yeah, he loved that. Another thing that I've been doing recently, last year or so with it, is copying really difficult pictures, either off of documents or off of the internet, to put in notes and in tests, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so the software is installed, the Bluetooth's connected, it's talking to the pad. My pad has been charging overnight, and you need to make sure that when you charge your Interwrite pad, that the pen is fully positioned and snapped into the cradle. You got to hear it snap, because the pen has a battery in it also. And if the pad charges and the pen battery doesn't, then it's not going to work. All right, so I'm ready to go. The first thing I do when I get here in the morning is I come down here to my little icon on this taskbar down here, e-instruction tools, and I click on that. And you've got these options. Well, I go up to workspace. That's what I always work in, is workspace. That's your starting point. So it's loading up. Sometimes it asks me when I do this, do I want to register? And I always click no, because I've tried to register and I don't know, I can't register. or it's been registered, it just won't work. So when you pull it up, you get your, the first thing that pops up is your toolbar. And if your pad didn't, usually what I do in the morning is I first turn on my Interwrite pad, and then I turn on my computer, and then the device manager goes ahead and locates the device. If it doesn't locate the device, then you need to come in here to the workspace menu, go down here to device manager, and search for your device. Go in there, this will be a little red X, double click it, and it'll look for your pad. It'll give you that positive beep sound, and this all should go green, and then you're ready to start working. Okay, I'm back. New day, fresh beginning. Just found out that I made 2 segments for this video tutorial on using your Interwrite pad, and I didn't have my microphone turned on. So I am starting all over again. The first segment that is completely silent, it's not going to do us any good to watch a silent movie on Interwrite pad, is it now? What I was doing was explaining the difference between operating in PC mode and operating in, you might call it Interwrite mode or workspace mode. Okay, right now, my Interwrite pad is communicating with the computer, and I can use my Interwrite pad as a remote mouse. And I go in here, I can click any of these that I want to. I can go in here to my drives. And the pen itself has buttons on it that act like a left mouse button, right mouse button. So I can click on the L drive and hit my pen, the button on my pen, and it pulls this up. Let me show you a picture of what the button looks like. I'm going to draw me a quick little picture. I'm going to grab a pen, and the Interwrite pen kind of looks like this, and it tapers like this. And here's the end with the cord coming out. Looks kind of funny. Here's the stylus. Well, there's a little button right here, and it toggles. And if you push on the front of the button, it acts like a left mouse button. And if you push on the back of the button on your Interwrite pen, it acts like a right mouse button. So that's what I did earlier to get into this drive. I clicked on it and I pushed the front button. And here, click on the front button, and I can use it just like a remote mouse. I can access any files that I want to that way. Close it out. Now, when I did that drawing, I actually started workspace mode, or what we might call Interwrite mode. And I can show you the drawing I made by using this forward, the previous, and this is called next page. There's that picture I just drew. I can pop in another page. Yeah, well, I'm going to switch pen color here. Your number one goal when you first start playing with your Interwrite pad is just practicing using the pen, because it doesn't come intuitively. You're not looking at your pad when you write anything in here that's going to be projected. You're actually looking at the projection screen. And so you have to watch the projection screen but write on the pad at the same time. And it takes some practice. When you first start doing this, it's going to look horrible. But it just takes some practice, and that's your first goal, is to just practice writing and switching between Interwrite mode. You can hit the mouse here and go back to mouse mode, PC mode here. I can go through here and I can see what all I've done. There's my Interwrite pen. And it looks like something else. I'm going to go in here and make a couple of shapes. Make this shape here. And you can actually arrow through all of your pages in your Interwrite file. Here is a page sorter, which lets you see all of the different pages. And if you want to jump back to a page real fast, you can click on that page, and I used my forward mouse button, which is like my left mouse button. It was a forward pen button, using it like a mouse button. Okay, so that's pretty much just switching from PC mode to Interwrite mode. Anytime you write on anything, it can be this right here. I can write on this, circle all of this stuff, and it just embedded itself into those Interwrite pages that I had. There's the first one, there was the second one, here's the last one I just did, and there's that. All of these are in my Interwrite file. And should I want to save them, I can go in here to my menu and go to File and use my Save As. And I'll show you more about that in a different section in the video. All right? So let's talk about the toolbar. The toolbar is over here on the side, and there's different ways you can park it wherever you want to on the screen. You can make it different sizes. You can pull it out and make it long and put it at the top if you want to. You can just, there's a lot of things you can do, places you can put your toolbar. Okay, the toolbar, all of these different tools on here are things that I use on a regular basis. For instance, like the pen. And this is probably the first thing that you need to do when you're using your Interwrite pad is getting your pen and practicing writing with it. Because you're not looking at your pad when you do this. You're actually looking at the screen. You're writing on the pad, but you're looking at the screen. So it's going to take some practice to be able to write and to make it look nice. So you just practice, practice, practice with the pen, okay? There is, right down here, they call it the toolbox. And here's all of the tools that's available to you in addition to the ones that you have parked on your toolbar. And so you would just go through here and play with some of these. For instance, like the curtain. The curtain's interesting if you've got say you've got some, you're going over an answer key, but you don't want to show the whole thing. You can pull up a curtain and pull down and just show part of it. And you might want to, go like this. So the curtain's kind of a cool thing to play with. Oops. There is, in the tool box, we've got, oh geez, there's all kinds of stuff here. There's a picture pen. I don't use that very often. I don't find it useful. Multicolor pen. Sometimes that's cool to use to add some interest. Freehand shape. This one's really cool if you're a math teacher. You can draw a shape and then it's going to clean it up for you. I can draw a circle and then it's going to make a pretty circle. So that's kind of cool. I just got rid of all of that with this X button. Some more tools in here. Let's see here. I don't ever use the spotlight. There's some of these in here I've never used before. Today I used the Protractor. I was doing a lesson with my geometry kids and with vectors, and we were actually supposed to estimate the angle, then we were supposed to use a protractor to measure the angle, and then we were supposed to calculate the angle. So as they were using their protractors, I went in here and grabbed mine and put it up there, whoops, at 90 degrees and parked it down here. And you can make it bigger if you want to. Oh, I just closed it out. Let me try that again. Make it bigger with the handle down here. I made it bigger so the kids could see it, and then parked it in here, and then I could measure my angle while they were measuring theirs. So that's kind of a neat thing to do. You can go back in there and turn it off. Some other fun tools in here. You just really have to go in there and play with them to figure out, which ones you like the best. Gradient page, I don't know, zoom spotlight. There's more down here at the bottom. You can make video files and audio files, page up, page down, insert media. There's a timer that you can use. You can set a timer, which I use periodically. So let's talk about your toolbar. Now there might be things that come on the standard or basic toolbar that you don't ever use, and other things that you would like to have parked on your toolbar. So you can go in here to Preferences. And under Preferences, you've got these different options. I go to Customize Toolbar. And so here are your basic, your intermediate, your advanced toolbar, and you can create your own scheme. So here's my scheme under my name. This right here is all of them that are on my main toolbar. You can take and drag something out and put it in the available. Oh, it won't let me drag that one out. Where was the other one I was going to drag out? I don't know where it's at. I want to drag in that freehand shape. This one right here. I'm going to drag that one and I'm going to add it in here and then save my scheme and close out of that. And now my freehand shape should be in here. And I don't see it. Maybe I don't have enough room for it. Maybe I've got to take something out. And I really don't see anything that I want to. What is this right here? I could take out that gallery. Go back in here, Preferences, Toolbar. I could take out this picture gallery for now and pull back in that freehand shape. And let's see if it stays this. Oh, maybe I forgot to click OK. Yes. And here's my freehand shape. I can click on it and then use it. So you can customize your toolbar any way you want to. Pull in the ones that you use all the time, take out the ones you don't. The ones you take out are always parked in your toolbox. It's just something that you need to play around with. Okay, so let me show you something that I do with my Interwrite pad that makes my life a whole lot easier, and it makes my classroom run more efficiently. With my algebra students, I do a lot of assignments out of the textbook because I really like the algebra textbook that we're working out of. So what I used to do when I was using an overhead projector was the kids would have questions on their assignment, and I'd have to have my textbook open, and I'd have to look in it and read the question and then work it out on an overhead projector. Well, with my Interwrite pad, I don't have to have my textbook. Let me show you what I do. All right, so I go to the internet, and I had this open, but I can't find it. Here's my textbook. I'm going to go to the algebra textbook, and I'm going to pull up the lesson that we did today. It was Chapter 7, 7-8, Special Products of Binomials. Okay, this here is what the textbook looks like. I mean, the actual textbook pages. I'm going to go to the assignment. Let me run over to the assignment sheets here. And my computer's being slow. Wished I had a new computer. All right, so I'm going to make it large. And I'm going to start off with a new sheet. And usually what I do is I type in lesson, this was 7-8, page, I don't remember what it was. It's, let's say it's 479. And let's say I assign numbers 2 through 80 by 2. So I'm assigning all of the evens. So I start that off as my title page, okay? And I would never normally assign that many problems unless they were super easy. But that'll be my title page, and I'm going to go in here and hit, for my menu, I hit File, and I'm going to hit Save As. And I've got set up on my drive what I call Interwrite saved files. And this is going to be algebra. I'm just going to park it out here and call it, I'm just going to call this demo. All right. So now I've saved, actually, whoops, I have a bunch of stuff from what I actually did today that I need to delete. So let me show you how you do that. That title page I just created is right here, number 15. This is everything that I was doing with my on-level kids today, and I really need to delete that. So I'm going to go in here, hit that one, scroll down to here, and hit Shift and hit that one, and it highlights all of those. Highlights all of them back to the beginning. And then I'm going to hit my delete key on my keyboard, and it asks you, do you want to delete all these pages? Yes. So now they're all gone, and I'm just left with this. I could tell when I saved that there were way too many pages. Okay, so my template has been started and saved. So I'm going to go to the textbook, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm using my capture. You can see I've got the little camera on my toolbar. I want to capture this onto a new page, and I only take pieces at a time because I like to leave some space at the bottom of this sheet right here where I can show some work. So there's the first 10. So I'm going to go through and grab this set here and make it a little bit bigger. So I always leave myself some space down here to work. And so I would go through and grab this down here, and I would continue doing that for all of the textbook pages for this assignment. Go down here and grab these, and then what I'd have to do when I get down to the bottom is close that out and then go over to the next textbook page. And I'd make it big and I'd start all over again. Okay, so let's assume we've gone through the whole lesson 7-8, and I hit save. I'm going to go to my page sorter right there, and you can see all of the pages that I've put into this, and I'm going to call it a template. All right, and I want to go to my very last page, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an answer key. So I'm going to type this in, answer key. Make it bold. I'll make it red. You can make it bigger if you want to by selecting that. All right. So I am going to switch applications and go to my answer keys. I'm going to go down to Chapter 7, Lesson 8, and I did all of the evens. Go. There we go. So there's my answer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my capture, and I'm going to capture those. Now I really do want that back on this page here, so I'm going to select it, and you can come up here and do File, Edit, and Copy or Cut. What I do is I just go in there and I just select it, and then Control X is your cut. Go back a page and Control V and paste it. And then I can resize it so the kids in the back row can see it. All right. And then I would go in here. Let's see, I got through number 20. I want the next set. So I'm going to go back to mouse mode right here, switch back to PC. I'm going to scroll down past number 20. And I want to grab this set. And so I'd grab this, it puts it into my Interwrite. I'm in Interwrite mode. I'm going to cut that out and go back and paste it in here, shift it over, pull it down, hit save, and then, you know, after I get done doing this, then I always tell the kids how many points they're worth. I don't know. They are 5 points each, so the kids know how to grade it. Save it, and now I have got a base template. Every time, File, Close, every time my kids come into class, my algebra kids come into class, I've got a template to use. So I don't need that anymore. Here comes my next group of kids to class. I go in, I open up my demo, my template. I named it demo. And now I can answer, you know, I ask them, what questions do you want to go over? Okay, 42, let's go look at 42. And then I've got the actual textbook pages here. Actually, I didn't copy all the way up to 42. Let's say they wanted to go 38. I can do all the work here. If they wanted to go over this one here, we can go over all of this work here. If you need to go back and see what we did on a previous page, I do wind up needing to erase in case we need to do another problem on this page. But when I get done answering their questions, then the answer key is there. And I use this year after year. I have had to change some of my answer keys as I change which problems I'm assigning. But my base template is ready for my algebra kids year after year after year, and I don't have to put this together. I love it. All right, so I need to mention on those templates that I create, because I almost forgot to mention this. Let me open one of them back up. I'll open one of them that I actually use. Let's go back to chapter 7. I just assigned 7-8 to my kids today. So I'll open it up and show you what it looks like. All right, that's what I assigned. And you can go through and see, here is the whole assignment just like I originally set up this template. That was all of the textbook pages, all of the work from the textbook, and then here's my answer key. All right, so let's go back here, and I've just opened this up, and the kids are, wanting me to do number 14. Okay, so I do number 14, and I find out that my answer is x squared minus 25. When I get done going through this and answering my kids' questions, when it's time to close out this file, don't hit save, because then it's going to save all of your annotations inside your document. I go in and I hit close, file close. Do you want to save the changes? No, because you don't want to save the changes inside your template. You want to leave your template blank. There's been a few times that I've forgotten to do that and accidentally saved it, and the next time I opened it up I had to go through and erase some of those annotations. So if you're creating a template, don't save. Let me show you another reason why I cannot live without my Interwrite pad. In math class, I wind up doing the same thing over and over and over again, class after class after class, and it gets to be real repetitive on filling out certain worksheets. One of them being this right here, and I like to I set up an Interwrite file that lets me be lazy. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's a situation that we've got here. It's a multiple representations question for my on-level students, and I use it with my algebra kids also. They're great little worksheets. All right, so I would tell the kids, read the question to them and talk to them about it. And then I would get them started on filling this out. And we'll do one of these in class, and then they'll take one home as homework. So in this situation here, I'm going to get them started, and explain to them that X represents time in minutes, and that if we haven't started removing sand from our sandbox, that we still have 564 shovels full of sand in the sandbox. All right, I get them started, and I might, at this point, hit what's called create a duplicate page, okay? And then tell them, okay, so now we've removed 3 shovelfuls of sand from the sandbox. How much sand is left in the sandbox? And they would tell me 561. And I would say, okay, what if you've removed a total of 2? Or I guess this is minutes. In 2 minutes, how much sand is still in the sandbox? And then they would figure it out and tell me it's 558. And at this point I would tell them, okay, now you know what you're doing, fill out the rest of the table. And I'm going to create a duplicate page, and I've already got this set up, and I've got the rest filled out. So I would do this, and I have this done ahead of time. And I'm actually creating this, whoops, 546. I am actually now creating this one because this one's not been put together. So I am going to save this for the kids, so I don't have to work hard the next time I use this one. And for 9, that's 537 and 534. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this now. File, save as, and I'm going to find my folder where I want to park this in. Oops, I don't want to save it here. I want to save it on the teacher drive, so everybody's got access to it. So I find my folder, and this was a negative slope, and I think this was called Sandy Scoop. Sandy Scoop. And save. All right, so what I've put in here has been saved. So if I go back to the beginning, I hit my page sorter, and actually I think I would start off with a blank page. So let's go ahead and do that now. I am going to switch out of Interwrite mode by hitting my mouse mode. I'm going to go back, and really what I would start off with is just a blank page. So I'm just going to put a dot right there, which now I'm back in Interwrite mode. I'm going to hit my page sorter, and what it did was it put that blank page right here. And I'm going to move that blank page right here to the beginning. See how I'm moving this? I can move it anywhere I want to. I'm going to put that blank page at the beginning and start right there, and I'll show you what I've done. So I'm in Interwrite mode, and this is the file I'm creating. So there's my blank page where I can read, I can show them what page to grab, what worksheet, and I can read the problem to them. Then we can start talking about how to fill out the column, or Y column, how many shovels full of sand is left in the sandbox. And then I can hit my next page and show them, yep, okay, you got it going. Now this is where I turn them loose. Go ahead and finish filling out that column. And I'd give them a minute or two, and they would work filling out that column. And then I'd say, okay, and I'd hit my next. All right, does your column look like my column? Well, yes, it always does, okay? So then I would have to go in here and explain to them, okay, after 1 minute, we've had 564 shovels full of sand in the sandbox, and I removed 1 shovelful, or I'm sorry, I removed 3 shovelfuls in 1 minute, and that gave us this. And I'm going to hit my duplicate page. What happens after 2 minutes? Well, it would have been 564, subtract 3 shovelfuls per minute, times that 2 minutes gives us this. So once they understand that, then I can go back in here. You know, what if your time is 0? You have 564, subtract 3 shovelfuls, but for no minutes, because I haven't even started yet. And now they see the process. I would stop right here, and then I would finish filling this out. So let me go ahead and do that, since I'm really actually going to use this in class. I don't know why I've never saved this one for my kids. And I go ahead and fill it all out. Whoops. And I am numerically dyslexic in my ever-increasing age. I don't know what that's all about. And the 3s are all the same. And really what I like to do is put parentheses around these, because it really emphasizes that that number's coming from someplace else. So bear with me while I get this put in here real quick. And I like to put in my equal sign. And once the kids get this filled out, then it helps them write the equation. And so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I'm going to hit save because I want to save that as part of this document. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm stepping them through this. I'm going previous page, next page. And so I don't have to rewrite all of this every single period that the kids come in. That was driving me nuts. Now I can just page through this and I can talk as I'm putting this up on the screen for the kids. I would stop right here, I'd let them finish working that process, and then when they've had sufficient time, I'd pop all of that up and say, okay, now does your process column look like my process column? And then I might hit next here and show them where all of those numbers are coming from. You know, that's going in there. It really works out great. I'm going to hit duplicate page when we get ready to graph the data, because I always have to talk about graphing the data, setting up your scales. Your x values go on the x and your y values go on the y. About naming it, about the independent variable always goes on the x and the dependent variable goes on the y, and scaling this whole thing out. And so if I can do that ahead of time, it makes the graphing process easier. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and finish this and then show you what my final product looks like. Okay, so I'm sitting here looking at this timer, thinking it's not running, and it really is. Okay, so I have finished putting together this whole thing. Let me show you what it looks like, the whole thing. I'm just going to run through it. Of course, the whole time I'm teaching and talking, but I don't have to repeat, I don't have to physically write this down every time my next class comes through. Okay, you've seen this part. And I'm just hitting the next button. I talk about where the dependent variable goes and the independent. I got my labels on there. Just dawned on me, I forgot to put on title. I have to go back and do that later. We talk about how to scale it out and make sure that those numbers are going to fit on the scale properly. And this is the one time that I'm going to allow the kids to break the graph, the y-axis there. So it makes it easier for them to graph. I get them started on graphing. I let them finish. Does your graph look like mine? Okay. Do we connect the dots or don't we? We have that discussion. Then we're going to drop down to the bottom part of the worksheet where we're actually going to write the equation. So we look at in the process up here what stayed the same, what changed. We help them define their variables and then write the equation. And then answer the last two questions. And see how I just stepped through this whole thing? And I don't have to keep writing this down class after class after class. It's already done for me. I just have to make sure at the very end I go in and save this document. Now the next time I pull it up, any additional annotations I make in here, when I close it out, I don't want to save it. I want to close without saving. Do you want to save the changes? Sometimes I accidentally hit yes and then I have to go back and clean them out, but you want to hit no. You don't want any additional annotations saved in your template document. I just love this. Do not call me lazy, call me efficient. Thank you. There's another thing I do with my Interwrite pad that I absolutely love. It saves me a lot of time, and it's something that I don't believe the Interwrite pad was originally intended to be used for, but it's kind of like one of those little added side benefits that makes me very happy. So let me show you what I do. Today I was working with this worksheet with my students, and it was something that came in the Region 4 curriculum that I wanted to modify a little bit. So I found these little pictures and I put them in last year, and I'm working with this worksheet again this year, and some of the dimensions, we're just getting started in surface area, and I don't like some of these dimensions like 4 1/3 and 7.8. I don't like these really big dimensions on the cylinders. So I decided that I wanted to go out and see if I could find some similar figures with easier numbers to deal with so we can calculate these by hand. So I've got my Interwrite pad open and running, and I went out to the internet and found me some shapes. And so I found this one here, and I thought, well, that looks pretty simple. I like that shape, so what I'm going to do is use my screen capture, and I'm going to do a partial capture and capture just this piece right here. And I'm going to click on it. Now I'm in Interwrite mode. I'm going to click on it. I do a Control-C for copy. You can go in here to your workspace menu, hit Edit, and Copy, but I do a Control-C. And then I'm going to use mouse mode to jump back to my PC, go back down here to the file that I was modifying, and I'm going to right-click and paste. I do a Control-V. Paste that picture in here. And now I'm going to size it up a little bit, and I will make sure that the size on all of this works out right, so that it just fits on one page at the very end, and I will get that to fit. So I like that triangular prism better than the one that I had. I need a different triangular pyramid because I didn't like the one that was in there, so I also have one of those ready to go. I like this triangle. Actually, what did I just do? Did I grab the wrong one? I put a, oops, that's the wrong form. Let me close that one out. I put, triangular, I put that in the wrong place. I was supposed to put the triangular prism there. I put the triangular pyramid. Now you can see why the kids do awful on measurement. I'm going to Control X and cut that out and put it in the right place. Control V. Yeah. Measurement's a lot of fun. Okay, got that in the right place. Let's go back to my triangular prism. I like this triangular prism right here. I'm going to go to Capture. I'm going to capture that little picture. I hope I don't get that in there. Okay, good, I didn't. Control C from my keypad. Go back to my document. Control V. And then I'm just going to resize it. And I may have to go in there. If these numbers aren't dark enough, I'll show you what I do with that in a minute. They may not be dark enough when you go and make your Xerox copy. Okay, so I wanted to throw a cylinder in here also. So here is the cylinder that I found that I liked. I just did a Google search and went in and found some images. I like the numbers on this better. This is easy when you're introducing these topics to the kids. Control V, paste that in there, resize it, delete, delete, get rid of all of that. That's going to keep it to one page. And then what I sometimes do is some of these images that I copy, I'm going to actually, I do use, you can see I was using Paint earlier to modify a algebra test. So Control V, paste that in there, and if you don't think those are dark enough, you can just go in there and make them darker. 3 centimeters. And then click around that, and then just drag that there. 4 centimeters. We ought to be able to see that better, except for I need to make that a little bit smaller at the top. I do this all the time. Take somebody else's stuff and modify it, because who's got the time to create your own? I will if I have to. Okay, drag that over here, and 5 centimeters. Grab me a little box. Oops, I want to change that. Make it tighter, put that right in there, and then let's make a copy of that one. Control C, switch back over here, delete, Control V. I like that one better. You can actually see the numbers now. And now this is my new worksheet that I'll use next year with my kids instead of the one that I did this year that had the real complicated numbers on it. These here I did the same way, but I copied them off of a old Glencoe worksheet that was printed on gray paper, and that's why it looks like that. But I do that all the time. I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to have to pause this and switch documents, but I'm getting ready to prepare a Pythagorean retest, and if you're in a hurry, I can show you how fast it truly can be. Okay, so now I really am. I've got to create a Pythagorean theorem retest for some of my kids that didn't do so well on the first one. If you're in a real hurry, you can just cut and paste from different documents. If I find something specific I want and I don't have time to make, I never have time to make the picture. I try to make time to retype the words and copy the picture, but if you're in a hurry, you could do something like this. Okay, I found this document. Actually, this is a Word document, and I would just go in here and copy all of this into the other document. Let's say this was a PDF, and I really like this question. I could go in here, capture, grab that question there. Now I'm in Interwrite mode, click it, Control C copies it, go back to my document that was going to be Pythagorean theorem, which is right here, Control V. All right, there's question number 1. And remember, I'm in a hurry to make this, so there's question number 1. Go down here, Control, and question number 2, get that one started. Let's say the next question I want to do is this one here that talks about diagonals. Remember, I'm pretending like this is a PDF. Control C, switch to PC mode, go back to my document, Control V. There's my next question. Now they're just like little JPEG files, like tiny little pictures. So, you know, you can't go in and edit it. Sometimes you might want to retype it, and I'll show you what I do real quickly with that. Here's another document. This actually is a PDF, and let's say, gosh, I really like this first question, and I want to put that in my retest. So I go down here. It takes a picture of it with screen capture. This time I'm just going to cut it out of this Interwrite document and go back to the one I was working in. Control V, paste it right in, and then you can resize it. Now, I really do want those to be together. So generally what I wind up doing is, let me show you here. I generally wind up on something like this, if I've got the time, is retype the question. Mary's trying to find blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to find this suitcase or whatever. Oh, we're trying to find the new store. So when I get done typing it, I am going to go in here on your picture toolbar. I'm going to go in here and crop this down. Crop it like that. I've already retyped the answers. Really, all I want is the picture. Bam, grab this, make it bigger, and I've got a nice question in my test. I do this all the time because it saves me so much time. This little capture button, you can go out on the internet or into a PDF, into any kind of file, and capture whatever you want to be. You know, whatever it is that you're looking for, you can screen capture it. And I love this. So that pretty much is most of the ways that I use my Interwrite pad. There is a recording feature that I don't use because I'm using this other screen capture. There's all kinds of screen capture ideas out there for you. If you want to make videos like I've been making for my kids, that's a whole nother seminar. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.